Do you recant what you've written?
I cannot, and I will not recant.
No! Authority of the Church Council, sir?
My conscience is captive to the word of God.
Interested in the truth. Christianity is tearing apart. And just when we need unity most, you create confusion.
My God, who is this Martin Luther?
This drunken little German monk is intoxicated with himself. Sober him.
You're threatened with excommunication.
But I'm a loyal son of the church.
If you do not recant, you will be delivered to the Inquisition.
By order of His Holiness, the works of Martin Luther shall be erased from the memory of man!
The Holy War has just begun.
Let somebody else be roasted like a pig!
Cowards! You call yourselves Christians?
Damn that heretic.
This will separate us from Rome forever.
The desire for deification and supreme authority, aggressively pursued by the Roman Empire, persisted through a new and more cunning system that arose in its place. The conversion of Constantine shows how paganism now sought to control the minds of men through compromise, as persecution took a backstage. At Constantine's conversion, paganism entered the church and gave rise to a superstitious religious system, the papacy, a combination of church and state. Paganism, cloaked in a pious exterior, became the new and deadlier strategy against true Christianity as it gave rise to the papacy. Renowned 19th century Scottish historian of religion and Presbyterian minister James Aitken Wiley observed that, quote, "The first rise of the papacy is undoubtedly to be sought for in the corruption of human nature. Christianity, though pure in itself, was committed to the keeping of imperfect beings." End of quote. Therefore, Constantine's conversion did not favor Christianity, as historians like Henry and the Vatican Basilica suggest by citing the Edict of Milan. Instead, his conversion led to a system with one man at the top because, as Alonso John states, quote, "No man can fairly deny that in the Edict of Milan and the religio-political intrigue that lay behind it, there was contained the whole papacy." End of quote. The papacy, like Nero, received allegiance and divine honors despite his crimes. Vatican Basilica notes that Constantine brought religious freedom. However, his enforcement of religious policies sought to establish Christianity as the sole religion. Constantine enforced Sunday worship, that is a papal institution, in opposition to the Bible Sabbath. Is imposing a single religion truly religious freedom? Think about it. At least you can see how early writers and gospel ministers from various faiths documented the unbiblical rise of the papacy. Revelation 13 from verse number 1 to 10 predicts the rise of the papacy to supreme authority over both the church and the state. In the early centuries, emperors like Constantine sought religious unity. In his 1872 book, A History of the Councils of the Church, from the original documents, the Right Reverend Charles Joseph Heyfeller, Bishop of Rottenburg, writes that, quote, "Eusebius states that Constantine himself summoned the bishops of Egypt, Libya, Asia, and Europe to this synod, appointed the consul Dionysius protector, and hastened immediately after the opening of the council, even before all the bishops had assembled, earnestly to exhort them to unity." After Constantine's conversion, despite the quest for unity, the true remnants of Christianity now faced a system that, like Nero, pretended to be generous to clear its image, while targeting those it feared and hated. Therefore, while the Church and Christianity appeared to be favored, many still fail to recognize that it was imperial favor that bound the Church to the forms of the state, thus forming the papacy. The result is evidenced in the papacy's quest to exercise supreme authority as exemplified in Unum Sanctam, the 1302 bull issued by Pope Boniface VIII. The bull asserts that there is no salvation or remission of sins outside the Church, the Catholic Church that is. Therefore, everyone should submit to its authority. It declares that the successor of Peter, the Bishop of Rome, holds power over both the spiritual and material swords. While the Church exercised spiritual power, kings hold material state power, that is, only by the will and permission of the priesthood. With that understanding, what kind of unity do you think will be pursued under the leadership of the papacy? Fascinating.
This is the world's smallest country, the Vatican city-state. The pontiff is not only the head of state, but is also head of the government of the Catholic Church, known as the Holy See. An old and secretive entity, the Holy See acts as a surprisingly powerful player in global diplomacy. This man shapes its foreign policy, Archbishop Paul Gallagher. Here are his key strategies on running the world's oldest diplomatic service. But the Catholic Church has been condemned for turning a blind eye to decades of human suffering within its own institutions. While there are calls to modernise the Catholic Church and the way it's run, behind the scenes, the Vatican remains a powerful force in global affairs.
Do you recant what you've written?
I cannot, and I will not recant.
No!